Hi guys, welcome in a RUNA writing exhibition. So in a Vandal Park community, we're gonna do a community hub, and I want to do sustainable development questions, forums, or invited bloggers or whoever is stick to our conception, and just to prepare the last 6 months to the garden boxes. I just put some RUNA writing topics. Why is the early stage of the humanity is sticking to this conception? Is right now when we go to the shop, go to the Asda, the Tesco, or whatever, is we eating the food of the industrial society, and sometimes we know is not the best, not the best healthy, not the best for the future generations, and that's why is the early history, which is starting the agriculture, is could give us a point of view chapter by chapter, is what we should do better in the future. This is the second lesson on our RUNA writing topic. Is first time I was just take one letter, which is quite the end of the official alphabet, not even part of the English Latin alphabet conception. And I just try to explain to you only this one symbol which is this one actually. So this one is a really good start to be exciting about how much the humanity was sharing knowledge at the beginning. So just imagine the pyramid is for us Egyptian thing, but then it can, with a picture of the megalithic buildings all over the world, he was showing many nations to building pyramids. Asian Chinese, Native Americans, Mesoamericans, South Americans. And if the Kurgan is part of this, then the ancient Britons was part of this culture, such as America is full of Kurgans as well, the full Eurasian continent. And just chapter to chapter, if this culture is more close to us, we can see some real connections. Actually, in UK, probably the history teachers not really explaining who was the Britons and who has connections with archaeology behind Rome. So our history teaching is pretty much starting with the Greek-Roman story, but the megalithic buildings is showing the story behind, such as the RUNA writing. And about the agriculture topic, if you go to Peru, the Machu Picchu is the terrace structure, is top of the mountain, organizing the nature to get useful for the human agriculture. Still, this technology used, so we go to South Asia, like the Tamil, not just the Indian peninsula, but go to the other side. So the terrace in South China is still just handling the water, which is coming with the monsoon or later, and the old technology is shown how humanity was using that for the intensive agriculture. So today I'm gonna show you connections between 4 alphabet. I chose alphabets which start to try to concentrate to the beginning of this knowledge sharing. With the symbol of Shenge or Zhenge, which is not a piece, this is a hieroglyph picture of a tree. If you have like bubbles on the top, it's more means flower or really young bush something. And it's also concentrate on youngster and growing, so is that kind of energy on these things. And when that kind of knowledge was shared with each other, is the Mesopotamian countries was definitely taking so many letters from each other. Today we're gonna ignore the Egypt, the oldest alphabet. What I put some symbols from that is the Sumerian one, because this is the first culture which is give us full text. And later in Europe we have some alphabetic conception writing with the Etruscan alphabet. Later the Turk and the Futak alphabets have a connection with the Scythian. So it's basically today I'm gonna compare to the Scythian alphabet letters to these four other: Sumerian, Etruscan, Futak and Turkish. On top of my demonstration, this is the regular alphabet what we know, but I try to put there the not the English version of the Latin alphabet. This is the Hungarian version of the alphabet. So we have soft sounds there. So not just the G, the J is gonna be, because we have this kind of sounds. Also the ancient alphabet have independent letter for that. Not always, but many of them. Straight away, when you say in the end of the alphabet the Z, and other one which is J, the J is understandable for English if I speaking French, Gerard, and with the G we can write some words which is coming with this sound, but it's not very mainstream. So the English version of the Latin alphabet have not specifically J sound. So that's why by the number is a bit more than the official English alphabet, because it's based on the Hungarian conception mostly, because this is the closest language to the Scythian. Especially the alphabet topic is showing that connection, this origin. Such as the vowels, if the Hungarian language using shortened long version like UU or UU, this is united because the first alphabets really ignoring the vowels. They're using mostly just with names, or if a word starts with vowels, otherwise they ignore it. Such as at the beginning coming some writing conception before the alphabetic logic exists. So first of all we have pictures, hieroglyph logic of the Egyptian is based on that. For example, the Hittite alphabet, the Mykenae culture have before they have syllabic alphabet, they using pictures. The Sumer start with pictures, and the next chapter is syllabic, and even the modern European Latin alphabets sometimes host to this knowledge. Like when we say Q is always coming with U, so it's a syllabic basically. This is only one what we have right now, but originally there was more. Or just think about the Japanese kanji. If it exists in a in Europe as a linear A, linear B, and is properly just one vowel with the sound ek, ok, ik, uk, ache. So that's the syllabic logic, and if it's only two sounds, that's a handleable symbol. It's just 150, 120, maximum 300. The picture based, if I make a picture for every single word what I have in a language, or most of it, then Egyptian have 5,000 symbols when they mixing the syllabic, the picture, and the alphabetic logic. So, because in the first video we will spend a lot of time to only on this symbol, how is fit to the Mykene alphabet, the Hittite alphabet, after the Scythian alphabet, and let's start at home. So the Saxon runa or the Viking runa, the Futhark itself, is you mostly, if you opening alphabet, mostly it's gonna be a R, but sometimes Z. So the Z in some texts is used as Z, but why is it R? Because the old German raisin is giving a sound of the original religious Scythian topic. So this one in the Futhark, it's gonna looks like this, totally similar to the Scythian, and the Scythian is that one, and the Futhark is gonna be Z, but mostly R. And many European language echoes why is the growing grass, the young grass is start with this. Just step to, if I say in English grass, step to the continent, check the ancient version of the Dutch, which is African in a Google translation. So it's gonna be a sound, if instead of the pure grass, it's gonna be a has, or look at the Danish version grass and the Swedish version grass, or Estonian, such as the Latin language family with a herba, and go more east, the Slavic languages doesn't even say G or grass, they say I am Russian, purely starting with R. And this is the young bush or grass. So there's a hieroglyph picture of this. And that's called acrophony, when the adaptation language, which is right now is the Old German, or Viking, or whatever you want to call this early German historical chapter. So it's basically on their language, they're using the last or mostly the first letter of the thing. What is that one? What's the picture of it? It used to be, sometimes is a person, a goddess, or a god, but could be a really important thing like agriculture for the early culture. Doesn't matter if it's a green forest or especially human created garden. I'm using this color codes. If is similar to the Scythian, then it's blue. If bringing this religious conception to the new culture is red. So I try to, it's green. It should be green here then. And the red means the acrophony is standing. But the acrophony is already means the religious topic is taken. If the Scythian was the middle land, then we're not wondering if the Chinese take lots of things with this symbol, such as the Turk alphabet. So it's different historical time when the Kuwait writing is echoes this. Or if it's something like this, the Berber ladies put it to their head. If I put it here, I got the Cyrillic alphabet Z. So that's that's why I'm doing this comparison lessons, because those symbols is help us to go around and look around from the late Stone Age to the early Christianity, when the Cyrillic alphabet was created. So one of the earliest, so the greater, the Mykene alphabet is showing the symbol like this, which not definitely pointing to the grass. It means bimbo, so is pointing by the word the young flower, definitely. That's why as syllabic the B is taken. So that's how they was use the language, creating syllabic, which is still standing in a Korean alphabet or the Japanese kanji. After, what is on my focus is the Sumerian, which looks like this, and is Ninda, and it's mean food. Again, we are in a agriculture topic. So the Shumir is the one of the first example for us. Ninda. We have so many language connection with this. Actually, with this, no. I don't remember anything which is coming to my mind from Ninda. The Turkish alphabet, the Ordos Yenisei, or the younger one, also using totally the same symbol. And for them, in Hungarian it's CS, for the English is CH, Chimin, which means young grass. And because the Hungarian speakers and the Turkish speakers was living together, even with the Hungary, the middle land is Kuman country. They was the Turkish speaker tribes. And also when the Hungarian speakers was living between the Hindu Kush and the Himalaya, or much easter in Ordos, so it's northern China nowadays. So the Turkish speakers and the Hungarian speakers was living together. That's why I have a lots of word which start with chi, talking about young thing, chokor, chomo, which means I put together a bunch of flowers or parsley or chaya. In Chinese, it goes to so many things, such as tea, such as herbal. So whatever we're taking from the nature for medicine reason, for example, so it's they're gonna use the symbol of the young grass, such as for bush or such as for forest. So that is because the Chinese writing is sticking to the hieroglyph logic. For them, easy to read the earliest versions because it's more demonstrative on sticking on that topics, and it's just the versions like the bimbo and the zhenge. So same thing coming with the Turk alphabet. Sometimes it could be just half, but is because you find a word with the same meaning. For used the wise ch in a Turkish alphabet, then is acrophonial connection. So the first one, it's gonna be another connection with the Sumerian alphabet is when they're talking about channels, which is necessarily the production of the wheat. So the river, which is used for making agriculture garden or channels, that's topic to here, and you can see this symbol is part of a new word or a new conception, which when we're gonna go to the chapter of the CH Sumerian, then we're gonna say that here. And you see, so one symbol is as in a Chinese writing, the early Hittite, Mycenaean or Sumerian age, which after the writing system just try to make a much shorter model of the original pictures. Let's save it for G. So in a Etruscan alphabet is a, as I explained, come from the grass side at the Western New European languages, just up to the continent, and the Etruscan researchers they find it is probably this letter was sounds like this. So that was a bit of resume of the first video, but it's also 1 hour. I tried to make a jump over from the full alphabet in 3 hours. So today we're just gonna take the first letters. So let's start with the A. Is the A is more is really, so what officially the Greek and Latin alphabet came from the Phoenician alphabet, but the Phoenician alphabet is almost totally similar than the Etruscan. That's why I don't support of this theory. When I integrate to my research the conception of the acrophonia, which is absolutely, you can see why is the new sound is taken, what's the keyword, especially if many alphabetic hosts, like not just the footard, the tooth also gonna, so isn't it give you a full picture about this. And officially the Aleph is a ko, but in the Sumerian alphabet it's definitely a woman triangle, and the woman in Sumerian Monush. So this is the A for the others. This one would not be logical for first, because it doesn't start with A. So if also the Sumerian language very close to the Hungarian, the modern Hungarian language do not using that word, and we couldn't really find the acrophonial connection. But after the Futhark alphabet totally showing when it's W, the woman, so even in a modern English language, or even the German version of it, is showing how that acrophony is a reason why the original mother picture, the triangle, became A originally, or W in a Futhark. Woman, babe. So the Scythian alphabet is usually the same. In the Turk alphabet, just pure the triangle is K, acrophonial reason, so the Kadin give K for the Turk alphabets. is the Etruscan alphabet. So in the Etruscan writing, we can read so many statements. So when we go to like a cemetery and find full statements, we can read it. This alphabet is different sound than the original Scythian, but the acrophonial connection is really rich. How we say mum in Hungarian, anya. And if the first or the last sound giving a new. In this case, if the Etruscan was also speaking Hungarian, is a double reason why they was keep the A. On other letters, they changed. Even the letters is mirrored upside down or mirrored to the other side, but on the first letter is saved. So in a Scythian alphabet, this is A, and also the Etrusc alphabet gonna be same again. Such as is not really known, is maybe a new theory, but the Taj Mahal by Indian Saka people was built as an Anyahita temple. So the Anyahita is showing that was a religious word as well. So not just in the modern language say Mam, Anya, but originally you can go and pray for this kind of mother god. So that was the first letter A. We over the last one, the J. Next one, oppa, I lost the next one. I straight away have the C. Okay, I can explain to you what's the B. So the B looks like this in a Scythian alphabet, and also this is a big religious topic of the Mediterranean, the god of Baal. Like the lake of Balaton, probably it's showing the same thing. So possible the god Baal was giving name for this god, for this lake, for this geographical area, such as a hieroglyphical picture. So what is explained there is mostly what I say. If you know, if I say in Japanese hara, so it's the middle of the body. There is an energy center for moving. The martial art is teaching a lot about how is the energy coming from here. And such as if I say inside or in bene, belle. So that's why it's B, because that's the meaning of the picture, basically. That's gonna be in an Etruscan version. It's gonna be almost the same. So for me, the Etrusc B is also pointing the hara. So you see, there is the same meaning, just a different interpretation of what kind of picture used for the same meaning. So this is the B. The C also a really important thing from the late Stone Age. The people as a weapon or for hunting using the arrow, and the C is target or the top of the weapon. So is from the very early age the Scythian using steel, metal for this. Even in the age of the Mongol horde, they using mostly bones. But the Western Scythians, or even all over the Scythians, they more masters of the metal work, and they know how to get some metal from the mud of the river. how to turn it to knife, to arrow, and this kind of simple weapons is a few grams, but it takes a lot on the really first wars, which nation, how many metal they have for producing sword or arrow. So why is it C? Because the target is tail, in German Ziel. How it's gonna look like in a Futag. Same if you're opening the Futag alphabet, it's gonna be Tivaz, which is like close to the target. So that's why it's T in a Futag. So that's another pure acrophonia connection. And such as if someone who was tried to make research in a folk art 300 years ago about the old symbols, because it's easy to remember, because the picture don't ask you to make artificial connections. What could be that one? The people just have a look and straight away they learn what is it. Much easier to learn this kind of alphabets than the modern ones. The Turkish is K. I don't know the language connection or something. So the ch sound is I've seen that in a Egyptian language. On a Scythian, the same as the Futag. So is that one. And this is a symbol of the channel. This symbol is sometimes have only one, sometimes two, sometimes three between, to make connection between the walls. And the first one, when it's only one thing in a Scythian alphabet, is gonna be marked the emptiness. This is R over there, so it's reit, ur, ter. So the R means missing. So the cup of something is a emptiness, which is possible to fill up with tea. Such as the river is handling water, so you have the bank of the river, and the two is the channel, which is an artificial version of the wide river. In Egyptian, it's chat. The chat is like the belt, have something to stick together. And this conception is shared because it's really important for the early agriculture people how to manage the river. So in Hungary, till 1790, when the Danube or the Tisa was going the overflow, and 30-40 kilometers away, they're giving water for the bank, and the people have technology to close it. So in May, when the big snow coming down from the big mountains like the Carpathian mountains, so this overflows was saved for May, June. So it doesn't matter how bad is the weather, if the overflow water was giving a big green for the forest, for the big land. Such as the small gardens in the Nile way to catch this overflow and use this fertilizing and water. And in Bank of Nile, they harvesting 2 times a year. So they, in a really clever way, they feeding a population from a extraordinary small land. So is the Futag is using the same symbol as age, which is, you can see the connection 2, 1, and Hagas or the channel, or Hagalas. The Turkish alphabet, that side is missing for me, but still the same picture and is cool. I was show you the symbol of the garden on the early Sumerian hieroglyph alphabet. The Etruscan, I couldn't find anything to the Etruscan, is some, yeah, okay. Let's go to the D first. The D is a cross. Let's start with the Sumerian. So basically, the Sumerian was using this for the god Dingir, and such as when in Hungary we saying fairy tales for the kids. One of the big hero lady is Tünder Ilona. That's coming from the Sumer, Dingir Inanna. Dingir means god, goddess. Later, mostly in the Akkad period, is changed to this, and is possible to read only this or only this, and in this case is Halash. And we have so many strange language connection, because the hal, fish, halal, death, halash. I really appreciate something. So there is so many words more than what I explained to you. It's making a big word bush around these life important things, such as is that we was living together with a Celtic population for a while. Even in, let me give you an example. If I go to an Irish pub and a toilet, Nina, the lady one, Fyr, the man. In Hungarian, fair fi. Fi means son of. How far? Fair, the Irish man, Fyr, the Hungarian. So it's just like a dialect. In this most important verse, same with a D. So the Transylvanians, they swearing Donna verje meg. What's Donna? Go to the Irish and ask them. Is a ancient lady god. After Christianity, still the Transylvanians swearing to she gonna punish you. So is this kind of cultural connections showing, such as if you go to some cemetery in UK, the cross is not long, is that type. So here, still traditional thing to bury it with this is not a Christian cross, is Dana cross basically. So the Sumerian is gonna be 2 times marked here, 1 times marked here, or if it's in here, then it's gonna look like this. With the A, I have only one good example. So the Scythian A looks like this. And it echoes to the Shumi version of E or Ud, which is So that would be close, but the Sumerian closed that totally. And we haven't find this vowel in a Futak or the Turkish, and that's why we are a bit lost what kind of word looking for. But in the Etruscan is some acrophonial connection, is just using the same word but crossing the last vowel, last letter with the first one. And when we're gonna go to the P, the picture of pihe is end with e, and that was used, the Scythian P was used as e because of the acrophonial cross. So the Etruscan is gonna looks like this, and that's gonna be an independent video when I try to explain to you the Etruscan was the origin of the Greek, and a couple of centuries later the Latin independently. And there's a different logic how the Latin was adaptating the Etruscan alphabet, and how is the Greek. The Greek was just simply taking, without the acrophonial logic, the form with. So this e, it's just straight away taken for them. But because I find the acrophonial connection between, on the other side, when we were gonna talk about the P, and it's a picture of the pihe, so it is a that's why I put it here, but it's not really is a P topic really. The next one is the Scythian F, which is filled, have two meaning. So one, we using the D just marked around, and this is a quite well known, I mean for our generation well known. The last 2000 years we reading the Bible, and on the Bible we have Adam and Eve and the Eden. And the Eden, around the knowledge of the tree, we have the four sacral river, and the Dana is a garden with a four river. That's why if you go to a cemetery, the rivers as a picture showing on a cross. Basically, the Scythian F is feld, which means earth or land or garden. On the Eden, probably is a small one. So if the Muslim culture doing a little bit water something in a quite big garden, like a high rung person structuring the garden, they're using that structure. Water in the middle, cross. So river in the four corner of the word. When I seen in an Acoma Indian festival, someone speaking of the Native American stories, they was showing that symbol, bam, and this four part was colored with red, with black, with white, with yellow, and for them the earth was the full planet. And they was explaining the four corner of the word: yellow people, black people, white people, red Indians. That was the color code for them, same symbol. Is really surprised how much these alphabetic things is on an Acoma pottery, almost full of them, which is quite interesting because the ancient Greek was report Hercules, the father of the Scythian, was coming from Eritrea, which means from America. So the Greek calling Native American the Scythian origin. And after you go to the Acoma Indian festival, and all your symbols is a topic in a pottery or a Kachina figure or something. So it's quite interesting. Let's say how is the F works in a Etruscan alphabet, which is a massive megalithic history around the Mediterranean, or the megalithic buildings is a massive chapter for a Daniken, or my favorite other civil engineer who making massive research about this topic is Gary Birkliff, who saying the Greek and the Roman buildings is just a light shadow. They lost a lot of knowledge. The original buildings more stable, more wonderful how much techniques they was used. For example, some of the temple is magnetic. Even in UK, the Etruscan buildings have something spiritually plus, which is lost. So from the age of Greek or age of Roman, this doesn't exist in architect. How does it looks like, this symbol in the Etruscan? The same thing than the B. So actually they're using the same or a version of this. The next one is the Turkish. When the Turkish saying soil, so it's not a big garden, not a country or not a continent or the full planet. So they're using this one with the or tselöke or tevers, the T for earth. The key word for us is a top rock. And even this symbol have not direct connection with this or this. Just a word was help me to find why it's coming to here. The story of the Aden is a quite different. In an old Akkad Bible is still, that text is talking about Adam and Eve, the Eden, the first couple of the word, the creation, the point of the creation. But on that text, not Adam was alone and the God team was thinking, oh, poor guy, I need a wife. No, that was the opposite. Eve was coming with them and Adam was created. That's why the early cultures offering more as a highest goddess position. So there is a chapter of the humanity when a lady god is a kind of Zeus or even in the Christianity it was just a political decision when the mother, father, son. So it's changed. We took out the ladies and we living in a patriotic, not feminine culture. But this is basically the rhombus is purely means for the Bronze Age people, woman. And heavy saying Mother Earth. So we're praying. So we have a religious topics as well, not just killing. So when he goes there, just thinking about some biblical stories like Nimrod, he was saved, the humanity for this direction, and it was successful, otherwise we would not living, and it's based on Earth Mother. So that's why I put here how the Turk languages saying Earth. And the symbol is not 100% have that kind of totally fit, but altogether the religious topic, and you will see other things. The rhombus as lady is the ek, so the one of the K. That's why is show us how important was originally the knowledge sharing with each other. The religions was more open. Even in the time of the early Christianity, the Eastern people was totally fine with Christianity. So when during the Roman Hun war, the Christianity came to Europe, the Eastern Christianity, like the Nestorian Christianity, have no problem if you go to the other churches. And even during the Mongol Empire in the north of China, the people was go, okay, I'm listening to the Buddhist story, I'm listening to the Confucianist story, I'm listening to the Christian story. Japan, the emperor of Japan was put it to the agenda for Japan. Dear Japanese people with the Shinto religion, are we want to accept, because that's happening in a continent, the Christianity, the state religion? So after, in a Caucasian area, the Armenians was built up a total Christian state. In Japan, there was an agenda, and the emperor democracy was saying, no, we don't want it. After the Buddhist was yes, so finally, after the Japanese population get the Buddhist and the traditional Shinto conception at the same times, and that's is unhistorical, but that would be okay with the Christianity. The Christianity was arrived earlier than the Buddhism. Strange. Or the Japanese decision was pretty much in the same time when an island population accept Christianity. Strange things, which is not in a history book. And looks like the early Christian centuries was Eastern model in Europe. That's why the alphabet, which was created in that time to promote the Christian Bible, they don't mind to sharing Bronze Age knowledge, save European, Mesopotamian, Egyptian or Far Eastern conceptions. So it looks like the early Christianity, how is the alphabet connections show, was more pluralist. So they don't mind if you have different focus, like all the religions around. You can go, you can learn from them. There's lots of things coming up if you're practicing yoga and practicing watching why the Jewish praying in that way, and so on and so on. The European Christianity have probably 3, 4, 5 centuries on that stage, and after slowly get more close and closing the door from other area religious idea, basically like 1065, 1085, the Norman as an Anglo-Frank power go to Italy and help to the Pope to baptize the nowadays Italian population to believe that kind of Christianity. Sicily, there was Muslim, the Calabrians singing in a church like the Orthodox or Nestorian or anything. Between the mountains and Rome, the people, Qatar, they don't even believe crucifying. So the weapon was baptizing the Roman population or Italian population or Longobards population or whatever. So after Norman, just make it silence and let's make everyone Catholic. And it's still not the age of Inquisition. So still the open conversation of Manichaeism or anything is just slowly getting out of the agenda. We still have lots of things to learn about this, even from the early Christian age. But that was really surprised me in England. Here, if I go to a church or if I go to a cemetery, these symbols, all of them, is in high level explained without meaning. So the culture of right now is not really explaining daily basis what is it, such as in an Akoma Indian festival. So probably the Chinese education is the most successful to get a meaning and teach it for the next generation, but without historical stories. So they not really explaining it's coming from the good relationship with the Hun and the Chinese. Some university professor explain like this, but basically every nation is exciting what is your, and the rest around or these too far connections is not really an agenda. But on the internet is available everything and the criticism of everything. So I try to explain you how much the early high cultures was exciting to help each other to make a good agriculture, make a good kingdom, make a powerful army, or many things which is help to build up the modern nations. So that was my first 1 hour lesson. In another 2 hours, we're gonna go through the whole alphabet and try to explain you many stories, which is good to learn and probably help the earth step to a more peaceful age. Is this symbol is probably what I explained first. The zhenge is more explained by the hippie generation as a symbol of the peace, but really the history, the first connection with the nations were more peaceful and more sustainable. So the first river-based cultures like Mesopotamia, Sumer, Egypt, early Chinese things, so they have more long good period in history, and looks like with the modernization we're going more more dynamic, changing the languages in many parts of the world, which had really happened in the first stages. So see you next time. If you make exciting about the alphabet connections, next time we're gonna start from the G and go through another 6 or 10 letters. See you tomorrow.